All right, I'm live again. So I got my little headphones on to see if I can get rid of some of that echo. Got a phone call here. I'm going to have to go get down to a rental unit. We've got a sink that's backed up. I've got to call into my plumber. So we'll see if he's going down or if I'm going down this morning. So I'm going to jump in and do a quick update here. So a lot of stuff going on. We're seeing a lot of inflation out there. What is inflation as prices go up here? We've got official track of CPI going. It's down to about 4.6 from 6.5. So it looks like inflation's coming down. Producer price index is down from 280 down to about 255. Shadow stats show a little different. That's closer to about 7 for CPI. Those are the official metrics. If you go in and you try to fill up your tank of gas, you're at 445 a gallon locally here up from about 420 a week ago. So in the pocketbook, it hurts, right? Whether you got the official track on it or, if you're tracking CPI or trying to look for the official stat versus what does it feel like in your checkbook. I know my renters are feeling it. Ken McElroy did a post here, I think last week or the week before. And one of his employees, she seems really sharp. She talked about how they're seeing about a 15% delinquency rate with their renters. That's huge. You're going to budget into your forecasts, maybe say 5% to 10% vacancy rates. Probably you haven't figured in a 10% vacancy rate in the last few years on any of your performas, but to have a 15%, that's going to really hurt a lot of landlords out there. And then I talked to a friend of mine who managed thousands of units here locally. She doesn't own them like Ken McElroy does, but she does manage them for a lot of different investors around town and through the state. And she's saying she's going to guess that they're right around a 12% vacancy rate, which lines up exactly what Ken's saying. And then I've got a much smaller scale. I don't have that many units, but I'm probably running about the same. I've got a few renters that are struggling here. Many of them have pulled in help. I'm having over occupancy issues because they're pulling in roommates to help with the rent. So they're keeping their rent caught up, but they've had to pull in roommates, and then that creates an over occupancy issue where I'm having troubles with a septic system now because I'm over occupancy. So I got to deal with that. I've also had renters seek additional help from outside resources to make rents come up. And I'm working with another couple renters just trying to get them caught up. So they're late on their rent every month and they're just behind, always struggling to keep up. So I'm trying to work with them to keep them caught up and know that people are struggling out there. As this inflation goes, their wages haven't kept up, and it's tough for everyone out there, including myself. Everyone's feeling it out there. So, things are rough. There's a lot of doom and gloom out there, but there are opportunities out there too, is where I'm going to go with this eventually as I just kind of ramble. I've got some notes trying to keep me on track so I can stay focused, but I look on Facebook Marketplace. I'm always looking for, if I can buy a cheap toy like a snowmobile. My snowmobiles, I've got a couple of them up north, and they're 1985 models, right? I don't have the latest and greatest toys, so those things are worth under $1,000 each. But I would like something a little more reliable. I use them for ice fishing. I don't do the big trail riding. So I'm kind of watching that stuff. And, during the pandemic, I've been pricing them since then, and the prices shot way up. It's like, oh my God. But those prices have come way down now. So they're back down to pre-pandemic levels. So people are out of cash. So they're selling off these toys now where, I got to seriously consider about buying them now because they're making sense. I'm seeing snowmobiles come back down in price, ATVs, and then also like equipment like skid steer, mini excavators, dump trailers. Those are all coming back down in line in price too, because those prices shot way up where they didn't make sense to buy. Now it looks like they're reasonably priced. So I'm kind of eyeing those too as well. I don't have a ton of cash here laying around. I'm looking for opportunities in the real estate investment, but those are, people are selling those to try to raise cash, I bet. So I'm seeing that, I'm going to call that disinflation out there as people are selling that stuff off. So interest rates have dropped a bit. The Fed spoke this week, and now rates are look like they're under 7%. I think I saw a quote for right around 6.5, 30-year fixed. They indicated that they would pivot, but they're holding steady right now. So the market has kind of adjusted, and rates have dipped a little bit. What is that going to do to the real estate market? I'm going to guess it's going to spur on some additional activity. Will that chew up our supply that's been slowly increasing? Probably. We'll see what happens there, but it feels like the Fed is trying to thread that needle, trying to do a soft landing. I kind of picture it as like a plane touching down, lifting up, touching down, and we're just kind of bouncing there. No one really knows what to do. There's a lot of fear out there. Where there's fear, there's opportunities. So I'm just trying to kind of watch everything to see where the opportunities are. And I like YouTube for that. And that's why I'm starting to post is, because it's there's a lot of garbage on YouTube right now. Let's just face it, YouTube sucks lately on my feed on what I'm seeing out there to watch, So I'm either going to be in that doom and gloom, that fear, or I'm gonna, just get people trying to figure out where to go. So I'm just going to try to post and figure out where the opportunities are. And where are the opportunities? Opportunities appear when there's fear in the marketplace, and there's fear starting to come up out there. Where is that fear? Where are the opportunities? Cody Sanchez, she does a lot of interesting posts. I struggle with her content because, she talks about the opportunities of all these baby boomers retiring, and you could buy these businesses, and she owns whatever 100 businesses. And my experience with business is it's a full contact sport. You just don't buy it and throw a manager in place. Maybe she's got that formula figured out. But I know it takes a lot of work to run these businesses. And, maybe you can find people capable of running them for you. I don't know how she does it. I'm not that smart. I do know that to run a business, it takes a lot of time and effort. And when I look at businesses, I'm looking online, looking for businesses for sale. It looks like you're buying a job most of the time. So maybe you can buy it and you can hire someone to do that job for you, and you can make a return. So I'm looking. I don't see anything out there that makes sense to buy. I did try to buy a business here during the downturn from a retiring boomer. He had a manufacturer rep business, good cash flow, and it didn't work out. The contract going into it, maybe I was a little bit naive, more of a handshake, Midwestern small town kind of relationship. He didn't end up selling the business. He couldn't let go. So he ended up just kind of not fulfilling his end of the bargain, and it wasn't anything he really did. He had a head injury. So that kind of blew the deal up. It had good cash flow. It could have bought some real estate for me. So what I'm looking for when I'm looking for business opportunities is, can that lease a business or lease a commercial space for me? So can I use that income not just to say I'm going to shift careers here, but can I use that rent to buy real estate for me? One of the richest guys I know, he owns commercial real estate. And he makes his money not from the business, but from the real estate. So he'll say, I'm in the real estate business. Well, he's got a bunch of different commercial buildings out there, and he owns the commercial real estate, and his business leases the real estate from him. So he looks at it differently. He looks at it as the business is renting his real estate, and that's where he makes his money. Which is true, right? Rents go up, inflation goes up. It's this hedge against inflation, and he uses the real estate to borrow against to grow the business. So he looks at his business as a real estate business. And that's how he got wealthy. Granted, he's got a great business. So that's nothing to sneeze at either. But if you look at what he's doing, from the outside, it looks like he runs a successful business. He looks at it as he's got a real estate business. So I'm kind of looking at opportunities out there. If I can buy a business and pay for commercial real estate, that might make sense, but I don't want to buy a job. So I'm not seeing those opportunities there. But that's the angle I'm trying to look at these deals. Cody's throwing out some great content, but I don't see where that rubber meets the pavement. I don't know how and I haven't paid for the premium content on how she manages these businesses and hires the right people to run them, because everything I see is I'm buying a job out there and I don't want another job. I got enough work as it is. So if you know how to crack that formula, I'm interested in hearing from you. Are there opportunities out there in the real estate sector? Yes, I'm still seeing deals you can buy. The rents, they can still work. I'm not, I've got to wrap up a couple of projects here before I take on another one. I'm not a huge operator, but I am seeing where I can buy stuff, assume some low debt or that low interest rate debt. So I'm looking at some of those opportunities. There are some fixer-upper opportunities out there too. I think a lot of the get rich quick guys are going to leave the business here soon because I think they're having trouble making those numbers work, and it's not an easy deal, right? So the reality of it, you can't just ride the appreciation wave up. We saw that in the 2004 buildup up until 2007, and then it all came crashing down like a house of cards. This is a different market now that we're in, but similar kind of wave. As you call them ballers, right? They're going to use that stimulus money. They're going to use that low interest rate to ride up that market, house price appreciation, commercial wave. I think we're going to see more of the crash in the syndication markets with like the apartments and the commercial. So they're out there. There's opportunities out there, and I keep looking, but the YouTube content is all doom and gloom, which creates fear in the marketplace, and avoid getting into that doom and gloom loop, that fear loop. I'll be honest, that took me out when that housing market crashed in 2007. There was nothing but negativity out there, and that negativity sucks you down, and it's hard to get back on your feet. I was sitting on a lot of units. I was partnered on like 150 units. We were doing condo development, and that whole thing came crashing down. And I got caught in that doom loop. It was hard to get back on my feet after that. I tried a couple of ways. I tried to buy that business from that guy to use that income to be able to buy these foreclosures. And then that came crashing down on me when he slipped on ice and had a head injury. So look for opportunities out there. Be careful. But there's going to be more and more opportunities coming out. Avoid that doom loop online. I'm trying to find good content out there. I'm going to try to post good content because I know what that doom loop does to people. And I'm going to try to avoid the doom loop, but I also want to be realistic about it. So things are shifting out there. Where do you position yourself? So just keep looking, keep running the numbers. Michael Zuber says, find your buy box. Yes, that's true. So just keep looking at opportunities, and they will appear. Seek and you shall find, I think is the Matthew 7, or I'm not well educated on the Bible verse, but I do believe that is a truism that keeps running out there. As long as you look for those opportunities, what you project will come back to you. So, just keep looking for opportunities and you will find them. So focus on your buy box, seek and you shall find. And I'm going to keep trying to find some stuff out there. I'm going to try to post good content instead of doom and gloom out there. This is kind of weird talking with a headphone because I hear like an echo in my head. So I don't know if it's coming across as an echo on your end. So that's what I got for today. I got to go take care of some issues on some properties. And that's what I got. If you got any input, I'd love to hear from you. If you're seeing opportunities in the business sector, I am intrigued by that because I think there's going to be some opportunities in buying some commercial buildings. And if you have a business that you can lease those buildings from, you may be able to put some deals together that way. So that's the direction I'm looking. I haven't seen a way to make that work yet, but let me know what you're finding out there. Talk to you soon.